Look, you can do it. You can do it better, ayy. Time will tell what changed. Will I with you whatever way, but you can do it. You can do it better, ayy. If you're okay, then I'm okay with you to fight the day by day, but you can do it. You can do it better, ayy. They'll try, but don't let them wipe the smile up off your face, cause you can do it. You can do it better. Life is what you do it. You can do it better.
Well, hello. It's another evening, another full day, just doing what it is I love, and that is just working with people, loving on people, and making a difference one conversation at a time. My last clip, I had talked about watering and planting, and it was a clip that was more so focused on our children specific, but I have this idea, and I'm calling it the empty invitation. And I just wanted to spend a couple minutes to talk to anyone who feels like they've been disappointed because people didn't show up. Whether they didn't show up emotionally, physically, they just left you feeling empty, lonely, let down. And there's so many ways that we give people an invitation to not show up. For young ladies, a lot of times you're disappointed when young men don't respond the way that you'd like them to in a relationship. But sometimes it's because you don't set the standard. You're saying on the inside what you will accept and won't accept. But the idea of being in a relationship becomes so important that sometimes you compromise the very essence of your heart and your soul and your values. And in that, you allow people to change the dynamics of the invitation. Sometimes as parents, we get upset when our children are uncomfortable or they're disappointed. Maybe they don't like a rule that you set in place, and so you try to stretch out that boundary as much as you can until either one, it's invisible, it doesn't exist anymore because it's so thin that they walk over it, and then you're left feeling deflated and defeated. And sometimes it's just simply because you don't want to say no, or you don't know how to say no. And sometimes you become extremely angry and you find yourself hollering and screaming, but it's because sometimes we don't know how to have those direct conversations. And in that, we allow people to not show up. So how do we change the atmosphere? One, begin to really take a moral inventory of yourself for yourself. Begin to write down the things that you want and the things that you no longer want. Begin to write down the things that you desire. Begin to write down the characteristics of yourself and the things that you have to offer somebody else. And find somebody who wants to offer the things that you're willing to give. If you're willing to give 100% of your time, find someone that wants to give 100% of their time. If you're willing to sit and think about it and talk about it and read a book about it, find somebody that's going to invest in you the same way. There's a book out there that's called The 5 Love Languages. And the book is based off the premise of learning how the people around you receive love and giving them love that way. But when's the last time you actually sat down and thought about how do you receive love? How do you open yourself up to better tomorrows? How do you rewrite the invitation? Putting down the time, the appointment, the place, and the expectation. Because each one of you are so deserving of it. Don't receive less than what you give. That is not your destiny. That is not what has been ordained for you. There is so much more. Be left with this thought this evening. It's not just how beautifully you set the invitation up on the outside, but it is the caliber and the essence of the words that are written on the inside. This is Real Talk, Real People with Deb Loving. Remember, you are deserving of great things.
Tell what change, feeling with you whatever way, but you can do it. You can do it better, ayy. If you're okay, then I'm okay with you to fight the day by day, but you can do it. You can do it better, ayy. They'll try, but don't